I am here. What did white people not claim? South Africans. Time's up. A white person cannot be an Afrikaner. The first group of people to ever call themselves Afrikaners were the Orlam's people, who in this day and age we call colored people. These are Orlam leaders, the original Afrikaner. The term Afrikaner came from their leader, Oudtshoorn Afrikaner. This clan consisted of mixed race descendants. The Khoi, slaves from Madagascar, India, and Indonesia. Can you guess what language they spoke? Afrikaans. Now this is for the people who say, but Afrikaans is derived from Dutch. Only much later, in the second half of the 19th century, did the Cape Dutch adopt this attribution. They then wiped them of that term Afrikaner. They were then renamed Coloureds by the British administration. It is documented in history that the Afrikaners came into conflict with the Dutch East India Company. Oda and his son were then banned from the Cape Colony and sentenced to life in prison. After Oda died, his son became one of the first prisoners of Robben Island. By the way, this son of Oda was actually named Afrikaner. We're gonna fast forward. His second son, Glass, was then exonerated and led the clan from the Cape Colony all the way to Namibia. It was only 200 years after the birth of Oudtshoorn Afrikaner that the descendants of certain white settlers decided to call themselves Afrikaners and accepted Afrikaans, the language of the bastards, as they would say, as their own. In asking why they needed to do this, the obvious answer is there must have already been people who called themselves Afrikaners and a language called Afrikaans that this new association wanted to both distinguish themselves from. Not only that, they wanted to lay claim to the term and the language for themselves. Many of them from the Boer Constitution refused this because they wanted to maintain High Dutch as their language. They were so disgusted that they were now going to be associated with the Hottentots. Have you heard a colored person speak Afrikaans? And have you heard a white person speak Afrikaans? The two speak two different kinds of Afrikaans. Because the original Afrikaans sounds nothing like the Afrikaans we speak today. Colored people still have ties to the original Afrikaans. Even though society tries to tell us that the Afrikaans that white people speak is the correct Afrikaans. The original Afrikaans had a little twinkle of Dutch, and that's because they raped the slaves that they brought to the Cape. You see why I say colored history is very similar to African American history? They dissected and stripped coloreds of everything that they were. And this is why black people need to take it easy on coloreds.